How many times have you casually dropped phrases like, speaking of the devil, or so far so good, into the conversation without even giving them a second thought? Idioms and sayings are like the secret sauce of our everyday conversations. They add so much flavor and depth to our stories, experiences, and interactions, but they're also an unspoken test of our language fluency. Idioms act as a gauge to our language skills. You don't often hear beginners in English effortlessly throwing around expressions like, don't get bent out of shape, or she's really got her act together. Using idioms is like a badge of fluency, reserved for those who have reached a certain level of mastery in a language. Which is why today we're going to take your Hebrew game up a notch by learning the most common idioms that you already know in English, and by the end of this video, you'll know them in Hebrew as well. This video was inspired by a viewer request, so if you have any topics that you would like me to cover in future videos, just drop a comment below. Your wishes are my top priority, so take advantage of that and tell me what you would love to know and learn more about. Each idiom that you're going to learn in this video will not only make you sound like a local and expand your vocabulary in Hebrew, but will also give you a deeper understanding of how Hebrew sentences are crafted. So let's dive in, starting with the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. This common idiom in Hebrew is התפוח לא נופל רחוק מהעץ. I will say it slower. התפוח לא נופל רחוק מהעץ. התפוח לא נופל רחוק מהעץ. Let's look at all the elements of this expression to understand it better. התפוח is the apple. לא is does not in this case. נופל is fall or falling. רחוק is far. מהעץ is from the tree. Sometimes Hebrew sentences, phrases, and expressions match up perfectly with their English counterparts, both in the order of words and their meaning. It's like Hebrew and English are best buddies, sharing the same syntax and word arrangements. It's pretty cool, right? Whenever we get these similarities between the languages, which is more often than you would think, it makes things so much easier to grasp and connect with. Who said that Hebrew and English have nothing in common? Sometimes they are like the apple and the tree. Next is adding fuel to the fire. Whenever someone does or says something that makes a bad situation worse. The Hebrew counterpart is hosif shemen lamdura. I will say it again. Hosif shemen lamdura. Let's quickly and easily dissect this one. Hosif is added in singular masculine past tense. He added. Hosif. Shemen is oil, serving as our fuel in this expression. Shemen. Lamdura is to the fire, and specifically to the bonfire. Hosif shemen lamdura. Added fuel to the fire. When the grass is always greener on the other side, and other people's lives or situations always seem better than your own, you say in Hebrew, hadeshe shel hashachen yarok yoter. I will say it again. hadeshe shel hashachen yarok yoter. hadeshe shel hashachen yarok yoter. Let's analyze this one for a second. Hadeshe is the grass. Hadeshe. Shel hashachen is the neighbors of the neighbor. The neighbors. Shel hashachen. Yarok is green, and yarok yoter is greener. The neighbor's grass is greener is the literal meaning of the Hebrew version of the grass is always greener on the other side. Whenever there is a great outrage or excitement about a trivial matter, we would say in English, a storm in a teacup. And in Hebrew, se'ara bekos te. I'll say it again. Se'ara bekos te. Se'ara is a storm. Se'ara bekos te is in a teacup. Bekos te. So, se'ara bekos te is literally a storm in a teacup. And speaking of things that are subjective, like someone's storm in a teacup, there is no accounting for taste, right? It's all individual and subjective. Well, in Hebrew, this common idiom of there's no accounting for taste goes as follows. Al ta'am ve'al reach en להתווכח, which also rhymes. Al ta'am ve'al reach en להתווכח. Let's dissect this one. Al is on, ta'am is taste, reach is smell, ein is there is no or none, להתווכח is to argue. There is no arguing on one's taste and smell. No point. It's all subjective and individual. There's no accounting for taste. Al ta'am ve'al reach ein להתווכח. Moving on to our famous Doggy Dog, describing a situation or a world where people step all over each other to get what they want. Doggy Dog in Hebrew is Adam le'adam ze'ev. Adam le'adam ze'ev. Adam is man, le'adam is to men, and ze'ev is wolf, serving as our dog in this Hebrew version. Man to man as wolves. Adam le'adam ze'ev. And speaking of packs, they say that 2 heads are better than 1, right? Well, they say the same in Hebrew as well. Tovim hashnayim min ha'echad. Tovim hashnayim min ha'echad. Tovim is better in plural. Hashnayim is the 2. Min is from or than in this context. Ha'echad is the 1. 2 are better than 1. Tovim hashnayim min ha'echad. 2 heads are better than 1. And lastly, in wine there is truth, right? Whenever someone drinks and spills the beans, which is another idiom for another day, in comes wine and out comes the truth. Well, that's exactly how you would say it in Hebrew. Nichnas yain yetza sod. In came wine, out came secret. Nichnas is entered, in came. Yain is wine. Yetza is came out came. Sod is secret. In came wine, out came secret. Nichnas yain yetza sod. Take these idioms, choose your favorite ones, and practice them repeating after me, writing them in English using the PSP as you see here, or in Hebrew if you've reached that level, and repeat them until they become second nature. Go back to the video to make sure that you're saying them correctly, and when the time is right, incorporate them into the conversation. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel and that you hit the notification bell so that you never miss a new video. And remember, your requests and feedback are always welcome in the comment section below. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep embracing the beauty of Hebrew. Stay awesome. Toda and shalom.